Good morning. I am 4 minutes earlier today, so if you're watching in recording, you can fast forward 4 minutes or just stay with us through our hellos. Good morning, Alice. Good morning, Mary. Good morning, Gina. Good morning, Nicole. Good morning, Anne. Good morning, Sandra. Good morning, Jean. Good morning, Ari. Good morning, Mariella. All right, it is time for us to start, and I hope that my internet connection holds up today. It's still quite windy, but I think it's a little bit better. We'll see. So we're gonna do the same thing we tried yesterday. So some of the things you already heard, but just so that it is recorded properly, I'm gonna repeat them, all right? Today we're gonna come back to our embodied life exploration. And last week we talked about the difference between an emotion and a feeling. Basically, emotions are a physiological process, and it has a life cycle of only 60 to 90 seconds if we don't fuel this process by our feelings, which are conscious responses to our emotional states that come from our memories and past experiences, etc., etc. And of course, if we do inject feelings into the mix, the neurophysiological process of emotion just gets perpetuated indefinitely until we're able to finally release it, let it go completely. During the 1970s, psychologist Paul Ekman identified 6 basic emotions that he suggested were universally experienced in all human cultures. The emotions that he identified at that point were happiness, sadness, disgust, fear, surprise, and anger. And later he himself expanded his own list of basic emotions to include 4 more: pride, shame, embarrassment, and excitement. So according to him, there are essentially 10 basic emotions, 10 very distinct basic ways we respond to life. And of course, there are different models, but for the purposes of our exploration, we'll just take his and we will explore them from the embodiment point of view, one by one, in the next few days. But today, let's just focus on noticing your prevalent emotional state right now, which is something we don't usually do unless somebody asks us, how are you? And even then, sometimes we just give this dismissive, I'm good, or something of the sort, without even trying to feel into how we are really. So let's explore this together right now. Take a comfortable position. As always, take a few moments to settle into the here and now. Notice all the circumstances of your practice, the inner, the outer, and notice how you make the distinction between the inner and the outer, what's happening inside your body and what's happening outside of your body. As always, let your breath be easy and uncontrolled. Simply notice how your breath flows in and out, how your body responds to your breath. And now I want to ask you, how are you really? So let's start with the physical sensations. Scan your body from top to bottom or bottom to top. And notice whatever you notice. Pleasant, unpleasant, neutral sensations. Also notice, what is it that you notice first? The pains and aches of your body, or the areas that feel open and spacious and awesome? Either way, it's fine. Just notice how you are doing it. Now take a quick look at your thoughts without really thinking them through. Simply note, I'm thinking about breakfast, or, well, apparently I am thinking about breakfast. But whatever it is you're thinking of, note it. Worry, planning, ruminating, remembering. And let those thoughts be in your mind. It's okay. You don't need to get rid of them. Just don't try to get through any of the thoughts. And now notice your prevalent emotional state. How are you right now, really? Maybe put one hand on your belly, one hand on your heart to connect with yourself a little better. You don't need to do that, of course. But if we take this model that I talked about, Paul Ekman's model, what is the biggest emotion in you right now? Are you happy, sad, scared, disgusted, angry, surprised, proud, embarrassed, ashamed, excited? Just feel into whatever is happening in your body. Remember, emotion is an embodied response. So notice what is happening in your body and then maybe give it a label, sadness or happiness or whatever it is. And whatever emotion you identify to be prevalent right now in your body, in your being, allow yourself to feel it. Just let the emotion be what it wants to be. Remember that the natural life cycle of an emotion is 60 to 90 seconds. So I'm gonna measure 90 seconds and be in silence for that time so that you can feel whatever you identified as your prevalent emotion right now, and notice if in that time anything changes, how this emotion is lived through your body. I'll start the countdown now. And that's 90 seconds. So whatever happened to your emotion in the 90 seconds, just own it. See if it passed completely and changed, or it just shifted a little bit, became something different. And you can play with it throughout your day. And in fact, throughout your day, I invite you to really notice how you are whenever somebody asks, how are you today? You can answer whatever you want. You don't have to give the whole spiel, oh, my knee hurts and I think about having breakfast at this place and this is my emotion. But in the background, go through those steps. Whatever you answer to the person, doesn't matter, depends on the situation. But in the background, let this question, how are you today, to be your little alert, little alarm to take those steps first scan your body to notice the physical sensations, then quickly note what you're thinking about, and then feel into your emotional state that is prevalent. Of course, at the same time, there could be several emotions going on, but what is the biggest of the mix? And if you do have the time in that moment, you can also allow the 60-90 seconds to kind of live through that emotion and see what happens to it. As always, it's an exploration. Please don't be frustrated if it doesn't work at the first try, and just have fun with it. Look where, see where it gets you, where it takes you. It really should be fun. Thank you so much for being here. Have a gorgeous day, and I will see you tomorrow.